Hey, Pet Pro. This episode is sponsored by some incredible brands we personally use and love.
And their support helps keep the mics on. So you will hear more about them throughout the show.
Quick question, Pet Pro. What would you do if your chew category suddenly increased by over 20%?
Because that's exactly what happened when I started working with Aardvark pet products.
Tell them how you started, Sherry.
Well, I started cautiously because I only started with 6 SKUs.
And now?
Now I have over 40 SKUs in my private label lineup.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive and a great selection for your customers.
And they love the variety we have. And it's because Aardvark makes private label actually doable with low minimums, no setup fees, custom labels, and fast turnaround.
Yeah, so if you've been thinking about it, this is your sign.
Email art at artn, N is in Nancy, at artvarkpet.com and use code PetShopGirls to save a little extra on your first order.
Pet Shop Girls, the voice of the indie, the heart of the trade. Pet Shop Girls, unleash your power, let's make some waves.
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Sherry.
And I'm Carly. And I grew
Well-
up with too much Sesame Street, apparently.
Does sound
Well,
like a Muppet song.
You know what? Here's the thing. Be Zaner. Be Zaner for 1 week and see how many songs I sing to that little boy.
Oh,
And then all the time I sing the songs. They're always different. He's got a couple regulars, but he gets some new ones. And then he says, "Nice song, mama." And I say, "Thanks, babe." And he says, "Total jokes, mama. Total jokes." So these are the conversations
wow.
that I have with
Well,
Zaner.
I think we all talk with our dogs or cats, don't we? That's why we're in the pet industry. Okay.
Oh.
Well, okay. So this episode.
Wait a minute,
guys,
wait a minute, wait a
uh,
minute, wait a minute,
what?
wait a minute.
Well,
If you're
welcome
in
to the
Super
Pet
Zoo,
Shop Girls.
welcome. Yeah, we said
podcast,
that. Welcome,
y'all.
welcome. Yeah. If you are currently in Viva Las Vegas to attend Super Zoo, 1, we will see you tonight at the bus party if you got your ticket. And 2, if we don't see you tonight, we will see you this Thursday, at our season 3 launch party. Money to win, goodie bags to get, pizza and booze to drink and eat. I mean,
You know what? You're right. Some people might be listening to this like on the
at
plane,
Super Zoo.
You know?
They're
Wow.
laying by the pool
Well,
right
I
now.
hope your flight is doing well, whoever you are listening.
Or they could already be here. They could already be
That
here
too.
in Viva. Like,
Because I flew in yesterday. On
yes,
Monday.
as did I. As did I.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Well,
All right.
okay. So we're talking about if nothing changes, nothing
Then nothing
changes.
changes.
Another way to say this, I would say, is the definition of insanity when you continue to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect different results.
Yes, that is the
Of
definition.
insanity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. So if you're if you're doing all the same things in your business and you're wondering why your business isn't growing or doing better than it is, and you're not changing anything, why are you surprised?
Well, and you know what? Okay, this is another way that I used to kind of frame this whole concept is I'm a fat guy eating a bag of Doritos telling you how I can't lose weight. Right? Like I'm literally sitting there stuffing my face full of Doritos telling you, it doesn't matter what I do, I can't lose weight. You're not changing what you're doing to actually achieve what you're trying to.
Well, and this is what we were talking about before we started recording. Like we have coaches and private teachers. You can have a business coach or a fitness coach. There's all kinds. But if you don't do the work or the homework that they give you, then you're never going to see the results. And
Well, think about it put it into the easiest way to look at a coach. A coach of a football team is there to create the strategy, watch from above as the players on the field execute the plays. Your coach's job is not to execute the plays for you. Your coach is there to give you direction.
That's where I think some people don't get it. They
Yeah.
think that hiring a coach is
Means that they come
they're-
in with a magic wand and go boopity boop.
yeah,
There
and
you
they're
go.
going to do all the work for you.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no.
You wanna what you're getting from the coach is a strategy,
Yep.
and
And motivation.
and feedback and a game plan and how to win the game. Like that's the coach's job, is to tell you what to do. You've got to be the guy that does the things though. They're not going to come in there and do it for you.
I also think that, and I struggle with this too, you are not the version of yourself that you were when you started your business.
No.
So you don't want to keep being that person, because every new level of growth in your business requires a new version of you.
Yep. 100%. Regardless of the type of business that you have, and depending on how long you've been doing it for. Now, if you're a pet pro just starting out, I'm going to give you a glimpse into the crystal ball of the pet world that you have now joined. What you set up and build today will not be what you are managing and growing tomorrow. And then all the morrows after that. What House of Paws was the day I opened it compared to what it is now, 7 years into it. I look back at some of the things that we used to do, or some of the things we offered, or some of our social media posts, because I still have them all. And I'm like, oh my goodness, look at us. We were a tiny little baby pet store and we had no idea what we
Oh,
were
I
doing.
cringe. I cringe at some of the stuff that I created back in the day
Yeah.
for marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, what was I thinking? You know?
Listen, back in the day, I wanted clean, and I used Canva, but I wouldn't pay for Canva. Are you kidding me? That's a waste of money. So
Saving the $20 a month.
yeah, and I think it's 12 here. Honestly, I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's 12. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't pay. And so I would sit there and scour Google. If you're listening, plug your ears. But I would sit there and scour Google for pictures of dogs and cats with a white background.
No, me too. Well, okay, back in the day, I was doing all this before Canva. So I was doing all my stuff in Publisher. And
Yeah.
background removers
I don't even know what Publisher is.
didn't exist. So, well, they were very rudimentary. So, yeah, you kind of had to have a white background to begin with. And yeah, you just waste so much time looking for
Oh, yeah.
images.
And they're blurry. And then
Yeah.
I'm like trying to like put something over top of it because it had somebody else's logo on it. Like it was ridiculous. I was totally thieving from the internet. And you can get yourself into trouble doing that.
Yes,
So-
you can.
But anyways, yeah, that's all that to say that exactly what you said, Sherry. Where you are today will not be where you are tomorrow. Now, how you get there, you've got to put in that legwork. I remember chatting with an individual, not in pet, but they desperately wanted to own their own business, and they had all these great ideas. And I knew them from the corporate world. Now, in the corporate world, specifically where I worked, we were unionized. So there was unionized employees and there was out of scope or management. And in the unionized world, whether you're out of scope, whether you're management or unionized, there are job descriptions that include your job tasks. And that means that if your job is ABC and my job is 1, 2, 3, I can't do ABC and you cannot do 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
And if we do, somebody could grieve it. And now you're doing, or like a manager cannot do an in-scope jobs employee. So anyways, this person was very used to this structure where there was somebody to do everything. If you needed your computer swapped out on your desk, you had to get the IT guy, and he had to bring the computer and change the cables because nobody else can do his job. That's union job protection. And this person was used to that structure. So when we were talking about, oh, I want to start a business, this person was literally waiting for somebody else to do all the work. And I'm like, you don't just get to do the fun parts of your
I was
business.
wondering where you were going with this. Oh my
Yes.
God.
But it was like everything. I'm like, have you done this? Well, no. Okay, well, have you done this? Well, no. Like, I'll probably just like hire some. Oh, because you got all the money in
Who's
the
gonna do it?
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a different mindset for an entrepreneur. And that means that you wear everything from the president's hat to the janitor's hanky when you're unclogging
For
the
sure.
toilet. Like,
for sure. Now, I want to talk about like ongoing education as
Yep.
far as us entrepreneurs go.
yep.
Obviously, if you're listening to our podcast, you want to invest in your entrepreneurial education
Mhm.
and you are curious and want to learn how to do things better. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So, but I hear this all the time, and I actually struggled with it myself when I first got into having a coach in my life.
Yeah.
Whether if it was for business or fitness or whatever, I was very overwhelmed with all the information, and I kind of was I was like frozen,
Yep.
and
Because it was
I hear people,
overwhelm.
yeah, I hear people talk about this a lot. Now, what worked for me was I would just try to absorb the information. I would listen. I wouldn't stress it. If I stressed out about it, then it,
You shut down.
you still shut down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I let it just kind of wash over me, and then I'll do a little step every day. As long as you make one step forward in the right direction every day, then at the end of 6 months, you're going to be like, oh my God, look at all the stuff I did.
And I
So,
think that's beautiful
if you
for
don't make
you.
if you don't make those steps, though, it's not an information problem. It's an implementation problem.
Agreed. And that's where I was going. And so
Yeah.
you, as the learner in this situation, because you've hired a coach that has dumped overwhelm all over your head and you don't know where to go or what to do or how to start. Bad on the coach. Good on you, though, as the learner who says, I'm going to continue to take one step forward so that I can at least get something out of this. In that instance, if I'm the learner, I'm going to go back to that coach and say, where is my roadmap? It's fantastic that you have so much information for me to consume, but understand that you have forgotten more than I know about what I'm trying to learn from you. And so it's easy for you and for you to sit there and for you to like, blah, blah, blah. Well, this is easy. Like, why wouldn't you know where to go and how to start? I don't know.
Now, would you say everybody's roadmap is going to be a little different?
It could be. It could be.
Yeah.
Now, I would say, though, that a good coach would have at least a general roadmap that would appeal to at least 80% of the people, right? You kind of take that 80-20 rule where 80% of the people, if I give them this roadmap and say, start here, do this, then that, they'd be good. You might have that 20% that are like, this doesn't make sense to me. This doesn't apply to my business, or there's some anomaly there.
But I think what's happening is like some people are like, I just got off a call with my coach or whoever they're dealing with, and they're overwhelmed. Like I have too much homework. And what I'm trying to say is you don't necessarily need to do all the homework that they gave you. Do some of it, and the rest will come more easily as time goes on.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. I just think that those really good coaches out there aren't going to let you struggle with figuring out what parts of the homework do I have to do.
You got to know where to start for sure. Yeah.
And kind of like, if we do this, this is kind of what we can look to expect as results, or this is what we'll achieve, or this is the building block in order to get us here. Like, they have that game plan. They're not just winging it. They're not just hoping that if they vomit pails of information on you that something will stick. And if they are, that's a bad coach, in my opinion. That coach needs to give you that roadmap.
Yeah,
and help you
yeah.
figure out the game plan. Like that's what you're paying
But
them for.
but
Ooh,
there's got to
that's
be some.
something.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, Sherry, that
What you
brings
got?
up when I
Oh,
just
this is
said
exciting.
that's what you're paying them for. A lot of times in business, it can happen on the business side, it can happen on the personal side. Even when we're paying somebody for a service they provide, they're a
And
really nice person and we don't want to hurt their feelings by either one, holding them accountable, like you're dumping loads of information on me and I'm drowning. I feel like this is more work than it's worth, or I don't know where to start. But we try so hard to be polite and not hurt other people's feelings that we just keep paying for something that isn't serving the purpose. Business is business. And if you're paying for something but not getting the promised results, you shouldn't feel bad about hurting that person's feeling. That person needs the feedback. If I was overwhelming somebody I was coaching and they're like, I don't even understand what the hell you're talking about because you're all over the place and you've thrown 60 documents at me and you're talking about 5 years out and I just started my pet store yesterday. I'd be like, woo, thank you. Pump the brakes, Carly. Let's back up and remember.
you know what? Yeah, I feel that way when I'm like onboarding a staff member sometimes,
Yeah.
and I'll talk to them. I have my nutrition speech that I give
Yeah.
all new hires, and I still do that today. And I'm really passionate about it, and I'm saying all the things, and I can tell when some people, they just start like glazing over
Yep.
and they're like, oh my gosh, they're like, what? And then other people are like sponges and they ask questions and they're like,
And they're
oh, this is great.
engaged.
They're not going to retain it all, but they're going to get the gist of it.
Yep.
And that's how I feel when I have a coach
Because it's brand new information.
or I'm being taught things. Yes.
Yeah.
But I think let me bring this back to, you've got to put in some work.
Mhm.
I think delegation, I want to talk about delegation for a second.
Okay.
All good leaders, one of the hardest things they do is delegate.
Correct. 100%.
So with all of this overwhelm and all this quote homework that you're being given, remember, you're not in this boat alone. I mean, unless you're a solo entrepreneur, but don't forget that you can delegate. Come up with the structure for whatever, the game plan for whatever needs to happen, and then delegate the time consuming part of that out. And then you're going to get a lot more done and move forward with your business quicker.
I think the reason too that delegation is one of the hardest skills to master as a leader of any group of people is because it requires a lot of trust. And I know specifically for me personally, when you prove to me that you can do the thing that I would ask you to do, I'm much more apt to ask you to do it. But prior to that, in my tiny little pea brain, I'm like, ugh, it would take me too long to explain it. I'm just going to get her done myself. I'll do it because what if they screw it up anyways? And then I just have to redo it anyways. It took me a
But what
long
if they do it right?
and what if they do it better than I could ever imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that that's kind of the challenge for any leader is when it comes to delegation, that trust has to exist. And if I hand off this task to this person, they will execute to our version of perfection. And if they can't, then we get stuck in that
Then
trap of
delegate
I'll
to
just do it
someone
myself.
else.
Well, yeah, if you have somebody else. But yeah, I all I'm saying is I'm not saying don't delegate. I'm just saying understand that delegation may feel very uncomfortable because you are doubting that person can deliver. And
And
so
so what if it takes them longer? It's
have the conversation. Have the
yeah.
conversation. Yeah. And make sure that your instructions are clear too, because a lot of times I think we start to lose trust in delegating tasks to people because we weren't clear in our direction. We had an idea in our head.
100%.
Yeah.
And yes,
and we spit
It's
out a
taken me
tiny
a long
chunk.
time to figure that one out.
Yeah.
And then if they do it wrong, I don't blame them. I blame myself because I didn't tell them how to do it
Mhm.
exactly how I wanted.
Yep.
So I'm like, look, I go up to them and say, "Hey, I want to apologize because I didn't explain this thoroughly enough,
Yeah.
but this is how I want it done." And then they can redo it. It's all a learning experience for everybody.
And
know?
and you know what? What I've started asking, I know a lot of people are like, "Does that make sense? Does that make sense?" Everybody's gonna say, "Yup, yup, yup, yup." They're not what right? Like nobody's gonna say, "No, that doesn't make any sense to me at all." Nobody's saying that. Everybody's saying yes. So if you like spit out your instructions and your follow-up question is, "Does that make sense?" Nobody is telling you no, it doesn't, or very rarely. A better question I have started asking is, can like do you or sorry, how did you understand what I'm asking you to do? Like, how do you understand this? Because I'm then not saying, does that make sense? Which they're going to say yes. How are you understanding what I've asked you to do? Or do you understand? Like, I want to get them talking.
Hmm.
Or do you have other ideas of how we could do this? Oftentimes that's going to be a yes, no question. They're going to say no. Maybe they'll say yes, depending on how comfortable they feel with you. But if they look at you like the boss and they're the subordinate, especially if they're younger, then they're going to be like, no, this is all great. Yeah, this is. So you want to ask an open-ended question, which would allow them to respond back with something other than a yes, no when
Right.
you're
Yeah.
when you're delegating or giving instructions.
Yeah. Carly and I talk about Retail Smart Guys a lot. And honestly, it's because we both work with them and we've both seen what happens when you actually know your numbers.
Yeah. Before I started working with Retail Smart Guys, I was only looking at the numbers that I wanted to see, not the numbers I should actually be keeping track of.
And that's exactly why we created the Pet Shop Girls Retail Smart Guys Success Package, and why we're so excited that you can get $1,200 off your first year.
So if you've been curious, this is such a good time to try it.
Because let's be honest, way too many retailers are working way too hard without really knowing what their numbers are trying to tell them. We were those retailers.
Yeah, were we ever. But now I have real support around improving my margins, increasing my cash flow, and actually knowing what's working, what's not, and how to make smarter decisions in my business moving forward.
It's not just reports you never look at again, it's actual guidance.
And you can only get the Pet Shop Girls Success Package by emailing jay@retailsmartguys.com. That's JAY@retailsmartguys.com.
And use the code PetShopGirls.
If you're serious about growing your store, this is one of those things that can genuinely change the way you do business. It sure has changed our businesses.
And side note, they also work with brands, not just stores. And just so everybody's clear, we don't talk about things unless we actually believe in them. So let's take it back to learning.
I love learning.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we all love learning. So like I know both Carly and I listen to business podcasts.
Mhm,
We love going to conferences and trade shows.
mhm,
We belong to different industry Facebook groups.
mhm.
We both have a lot of business books, but we don't read them. And
We are the buyer of business books. We are not the consumers. We are just the buyers.
I
Yeah.
feel so smart when I buy the book.
I know. Well, look at your bookshelf. Like you've got
I
like
know.
20 books staring at me.
I know.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, but and we've both had consultants and we both do consulting.
Mhm.
But so again, what do you normally say? What's that saying, Carly, where like education is entertainment
That's Bob
if you
Nagin.
don't. What? Oh,
That's
how
Bob
does it go?
Nagin.
How does it go?
Something about what, like education that you don't use as entertainment. I don't remember exactly how he says it. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's
I'm just trying to drive home the fact that you like don't complain that you have all these things to do because if you don't do them, nothing's going to change.
right. And it's if you're paying somebody paying them doesn't mean that they're coming to do it unless you're paying somebody to cut your grass.
Yeah, we've come across that. We've come across that too.
Yeah, like when you hire a consultant or a coach, again, put that football analogy in your head.
Now-
The coach is not out there in
Now,
shoulder
if the
pads
coach-
and helmets.
You need to post more on Instagram. Don't expect the coach to do that. But what you could do is hire somebody else to do it if you don't want to.
Yeah. What are you learning then? Hmm.
Well, you learned that you need to post more on Instagram.
I think too, you know what? Like, I mean, I see a lot of businesses who want to hire out their social, and
You can tell. I mean,
you
look, I think that
100% can tell.
it's
Yeah.
better than not posting at all, in my opinion, but you can still kind of tell that it's somewhat generic.
I have a brand who has, I'm just going to say, 2 different types of food types. Okay. And while one, the social media prior to the person they hired was awful, but it was authentic.
I thought you were going to say awesome.
Awful, but authentic. But now with this new, I don't know if they're an influencer or whatever the heck this person is, but I'm like, do you not understand exactly what this brand sells? Because as you create content for one food type, you're literally, I'm not going to say bashing, but really putting the other food type into a very bad light. It would make people go, ew, like, why would I feed that? But it's the same brand. And I think that that's where hiring out to social, I say get your team involved, your team who's passionate. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about the newbie that just started yesterday, but
Well,
I'm
again, that goes back to delegation then. So when people say they don't have the time to do all the homework, I think maybe delegation is the issue.
well, and yes, that could be it. It's like and we've talked about this too. It's my expectation that whoever works in a store on any particular day, part of their requirements or part of their responsibility is to post minimum 3 Instagram stories per day. This goes.
I know several other businesses that do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have
And
the
I'm-
staff do it. Yeah.
And I'm the worst. I'm literally the worst. Like whenever Carly's working, if there's no stories, I was working that day because I'm the worst. Because I get caught up with, oh, I've got to do the store stuff, but then I also have to run to the back and I have got to do things when customers aren't here. And oh, now a customer comes and I'm going to run back out and I'm going to handle the customer. And now I'm going to get back to what I was doing in the back room. And
Right, because I mean, it comes down to like, okay, is raising the margins on your freeze dried more important than
posting 3 stories.
than posting the stories? I get that we
Yeah.
all have a ton to do.
Yeah. And it's not that my team doesn't have important work. It's that they may not, their plate just may not be quite as full as my plate.
Right.
And
right.
so for them to post 3 stories throughout the day in between customers, yes, they might be working on another little project here or there, but they might be working on 1 or 2 projects. I'm working on 10 or 20 projects.
And if let's say you do need to raise the margins on a certain category, you could show somebody exactly how to do it.
Yep.
Somebody you trust.
Yep.
Exactly how to do that. And then have them do it because that could take a while. And is your time really worth
Best
it to do
spent
that?
doing that. Yeah. Yeah. But again, I mean, and that's what, if we're talking about, like, if the coach comes back to you and says, in order for you to actually be profitable, you need to raise your margins wherever. And then if you're running away and going, oh my God, now I've got 6 hours of having to raise my prices, blah, blah, blah. Why can't the coach do the things? The coach isn't wearing the helmet. The coach is standing on the sideline with a clipboard, giving you direction on how to win the game. So if it's 6 hours today, fine. Either we can delegate or we can go, I'm going to get to this section today. I'm going to get to that section. But make it, I think we've talked about this too. I had my profitability pie. And this is because when I was in the corporate world, I would have my list of to-dos and I would almost get that list of to-dos done every day. And then I would start a new list of to-dos the next day. And when I started my own business, I was like, this list never dies. I can never get it done. I realized it took me a little while, but I realized that in my corporate world, I had my piece of the pie that I looked after. And remember, I was only allowed to do my job. Everybody else had to do their jobs. So I had my piece of the pie. When I opened my own store, I don't just have a piece of pie anymore. I've got a whole bloody bakery and I don't know how to bake. And now, now I have to manage the whole thing myself. That's why my to-do list never died. So I came
Right.
up with my little profitability pie is what I was calling it, because I thought I need to have a way to prioritize my to-do list because everything can't be the highest priority. So the way that I looked at it is if it costs me or makes me money, that should be at the top of my list for the day.
Right.
If it impacts the operations of my business, which ultimately feeds into costing or making me money, that should be my number 2 priority. And if it's passive, this would be nice to get done, but it's not critical to the operation of the business and it doesn't make or cost me money. That's the last thing on my to-do list. So that's how I try to categorize my to-do lists is I'm like, what makes me or costs me money? Those are my first priorities. Now, if it's operational, I need to get this product out on the floor or I can't sell it. That's operational.
Or like, would creating an internal training program be part of that? Because that took me 20 years to do. Let me tell you, I finally launched my internal training program this year, you guys. And I had my whole staff take it and I'm just so freaking happy.
Yeah, it
and
feels like a weight is off your
excited.
shoulder.
A huge weight is off my shoulders.
Yeah.
And they all enjoyed it and learned things. And now when we onboard new people, like it sets the tone and expectations right off the bat.
Yep.
Rather than a few weeks in and then it doesn't work out.
I
So
know.
I think it's going to be a lot smoother. But yeah, building out the training platform was the hardest thing for me to do. And I kept pushing it off. It off. And I finally stayed up I stayed up for maybe 2 weeks. It took me about 2 weeks just buckling down, putting all my other tasks aside and staying up late. And I got it done.
Yeah.
Something that took me years
Yeah.
to do.
I would say that something like that, because obviously a sound training program that is specific to what you're trying to do in your store is obviously critical to the operation of your business. However, and don't take my word for it. I've just been building training for 30 freaking years.
You excel at it. It's so easy for you.
Well,
it's hard for me.
But it's time consuming. And so what I was going to say is building training is probably not on my to-do list for the day. That would be on on a project list for me, because I'd be like, I want to dedicate. So I'm going to take the day or two a week that I do not have to be in my store. And I'm going to say those days are dedicated to me building out these training modules, because it's not something I don't want to start and get partway through my module. And then a customer comes in and I'm like, crap. And I run out.
Oh no, this was something I had to do at home without any interruption.
Without distraction. Yeah. So that's where I'm saying building training is probably not on my daily to-do list. Building training would be on my project plan for House of Paws.
Right.
Yeah.
But while we were talking about all this, I was thinking about the idea of being busy versus productive. Is covering shifts and ordering product and running your register
productive time for the owner?
Is it productive? Or
no,
it
is not. But sometimes it's necessary. Right?
True.
I have a small team and right now it's summer. And so I told my guys, book your times, let me know. Nobody interferes with my Vegas week, but book your vacation around that. And so that means that we've got one person in the store on most days in the summer, and that's me when they're not here. So is it productive?
No, I still
No,
I still
but
cover shifts too,
yeah,
but I talked to some other pet store owners or pet business owners, and they they wonder why they can't get to the things that they need to get to, like building out a training platform or creating your SOPs.
it's because they're
Uh,
behind the till.
it's because you're running the register when
Yeah.
you shouldn't be. So your goal should be to get out of that position. I mean, I did it for years because I thought I was saving the business money by not paying somebody else to be there.
Right.
But what I was doing was costing the business money because I wasn't putting my time and effort into,
Growing the business
yeah, creating the
and
progress.
evolving evolving
Yeah.
the business. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also say, like, a lot of people in my life do not like the fact that I am constantly on do not disturb. But and I've talked about this on the show before. I've said that a lot. We obviously are talking about the same things over and over again, but that must mean they're important. But I honestly, when my phone is not on do not disturb, bzz, 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 like it doesn't stop, and it's a constant distraction, no matter what I'm trying to do.
I'm always looking at my phone.
Yeah,
And if I got a text message, if I get a text message, I'm like, oh my God, is it important? And then it usually isn't.
yeah.
So I applaud you for your do not disturb. I have not pulled that trigger yet.
You know what, Sherry? I did it. I started it. It was Christmas, and my team had said, "Get out of here. We don't want to see you for 2 weeks. Like, do not show your face in this store."
Nice.
And we closed for 4 days over the holidays. So essentially, they were just kind of getting rid of me for another 8 days or whatever. But at that time, I thought, you know what? I do need a break. I need to unplug. I need to like not constantly be like head swivel, head swivel, head swivel, looking at my damn phone all the time. And I put myself on do not disturb. And it was like, oh, glorious. Now Christmas break is over. And I was like, oh, I have to take my phone off. Do not disturb tomorrow. And I was dreading it. Anyways, I did it for about 10 minutes. I went back off on not do not disturb and my phone. Bzz, bzz, bzz. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. That, to me, that is busy work, not productive work, because I'm constantly looking at the phone, looking at the phone, looking at the phone.
Yeah.
And it's usually, as you said, I mean, 1 out of 100 messages are an emergency. The rest are just annoying notifications. So I sit on do not disturb all of the time now. And so now when I'm working, I'm much more productive because I'm like focusing on the task, doing the thing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I got that done. Okay.
Right. It'll take a lot less time.
Yep. And then I take I'm going to step back. I'll look at my phone. Okay. And I'll go get a drink of water or whatever it is. And I come back, I reread, I proofread. Okay, we're good to go. Done. But if I was looking at my phone every freaking minute of that hour that I spent trying to create this document, it would have taken 3 hours because you get distracted. You forget what you were doing.
Yeah.
You like, now this person texted. Now we get into a 15-minute texting back and forth. And it eats up your day. And that's busy work versus productive. I say figure out the little tools that will help you be productive. In the corporate world, obviously, when I had an office with a door, I would map out times that, and I don't want to sound like I was being a jerk to my team. I wasn't. They fully understood. If my door was always open, with the exception of times that I would block out throughout the week that I would say, I need this hour, that my door needs to be closed. I'm not available for this hour of the day because I have to go work on whatever. Find those little tweaks that you can make in your day because you will have homework. You will have homework until the day your business closes. There's never going to be a day that you don't have homework, whether you're learning from a formal coach that you pay, whether you're learning from online learning, whether you're learning from a group coaching or the Indie Insider or this podcast. Like you're always learning and applying, but there always will be homework. But find those little tweaks throughout the day that you can do to make sure that your work is productive and just not busy work.
Well, and that's why right now I've been struggling with emails because that just is like such a time suck. And we talked about it in our Smart Tech Summer mini series. What helped me was that Sane box.
Yes.
And that cut down a lot of time on checking emails. But that's a good patch for now, but it's not going to be a long-term fix
Yeah.
in the future.
I think another little kind of, if you have that to-do list every day, maybe you add to the productivity pie. Oh, that's what I called it. Not the profitability pie. It was the productivity pie.
Ah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So the productivity pie, maybe you add one more little section to that. And that is if you have that big project, building training, writing out your SOPs, improving your SEO on your website. Like if you have those big projects, maybe you assign 15, 30, 60 minutes a day to, I'm going to work on the project. And this is my 15 or 30 or 60 minutes that I can't
I know that
interrupt.
can work. I know that can work for some people. I have tried that. What works for me is I have to be in the mood and motivated for something like that. I think that's the artist side of me. Like if somebody told me, okay, you have to have this painting done by the end of the day, I'll be like, what? I don't feel like painting right now. I need to have my artistic juices flowing. You know what I mean? So I think that's why I like listening to podcasts. Both of us have been listening to The Diary of a CEO lately.
Mhm.
And
Stephen Bartlett, if you're listening, we want you on the show.
it's a great podcast.
Yeah.
And it is motivating. I've gotten ideas for my business for this podcast on it.
Yeah.
So if I can just take away one knowledge nugget out of listening to something like that, I find it to be a success.
I'm going to scold your artist personality, Sherry, and I'm going to say,
Oh, the reason I brought up the podcast, the reason I brought up Diary of the CEO, I think I was listening to him or something like that, and I got really excited about making my training platform, and I said, okay, I'm not going to check my email for like 3 days because it's such a freaking time suck. I didn't check my email. I got a rhythm down, and once I made some headway and got some success on it, then it was much easier past that.
and that's kind of where I was going to go. I get it that if I said to you, Sherry, I want you to sit down for an hour each day and dedicate an hour to XYZ project, that you'd be like, oh God, no, I don't want to. I need to be inspired. I need to have my creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I said to you, okay, Sherry, I want you to sit down tomorrow and I want you to spend 5 minutes on this project. You're like, well, okay, it's 5 minutes.
5 minutes is easier than an hour.
100% it is. So then I would want you to build on that. 5 minutes. And what did we get done today? Like, oh, we did this. Okay, cool. Tomorrow you're going to do another 5 minutes. Then you're going to do another. Now maybe next week we're going to say it's 7 minutes, and then it's 10 minutes.
I mean,
and then it's
but if
20.
I get into the flow, like I don't like to stop. I know you're a Big Bang Theory
Yeah.
fan. When Sheldon's in the zone,
Yeah.
I mean, when I get in the zone, man, I can sit there and do that task for like 10 hours.
Oh, I can too. I've
I just
literally
want to
had
get
people.
it done.
Yeah. And I've had people say to me, like, it is midnight, Carly. I'm done working. If you want to keep working, go ahead and keep doing it. And I'm like, we're in the flow. But all I'm saying is if there's a task that you're looking at going, oh God, that's the last thing I want to do,
Just take little steps.
5 minutes. Do it for 5 minutes. And then each 5 minutes that you do with this, you're going to start to build that momentum. You're going to start to see the progress. And that's going to be your motivation to keep pushing you
Yes,
forward.
the motivation.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? It has been long enough. We are in Vegas. I don't care what time you are listening to this. If you are listening to this on Tuesday, August 11th, I'm going to get a slushy drink, and you shall see me with a foot-long slushy drink.
Oh my gosh, I will take a picture. I just want to kind of sum up the big takeaways, at least for me, on this. And that is, look, we don't want you to listen to this podcast or listen to whatever educational system you subscribe to right now and get overwhelmed. Little changes compound over time. So I've said this so many times, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And also, if you listen to this particular podcast and we say things that don't don't quite make sense to you, or we're saying it too fast, or we're giving too much information, check out our Substack. Like once you sign up, you can cancel anytime. And that way you don't have to take notes during the show. We have it all written out for you. There's images and actual workbooks on some things. So it's all in the Substack, which is a platform that you can download the app, find us. It's called Pet Shop Girls Off the Record, and that's where we have all of that. So that might help you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Everybody has to find what works for them. I think the biggest thing is here, you start wherever you start, and just know that, yes, we're all in it together. And yes, you've got people that you can bounce ideas off and brainstorm with and commiserate with about the highs and the lows of being a business owner. But know at the end of the day that no matter who you hire to help you, you are still the guy that gots to do the work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Pet Pros, viva Las Vegas. Until next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Pet Pro, have you outgrown your current POS system?
Are you looking for something more modern, more streamlined, and, dare we say, a sexy POS system?
Because if your system is clunky, outdated, or just not helping you grow, we need to tell you about the Pet Shop Girls Preferred Frampause Package.
That's right. We partnered with Frampause and negotiated this package specifically for independent pet retailers, and the savings are real.
Yeah, we're talking lower merchant fees, a better email package, and a hardware bundle worth over $2,500 and more.
So this is not just a prettier POS. This is a sophisticated system designed to help you grow smarter and save more.
If you want better tools, better support, and better rates that you did not have to negotiate, as well as a system that actually feels like it's built for where your business is going,
go to 2petshopgirls.com/Frampos. That's FRANPOS for more information and to book your discovery call.
That's 2petshopgirls.com/Franpause. And make sure you mention code PetShopGirls to score the savings that we've already negotiated for you.
Pet Shop Girls is a paid partner of Frampos.
All right, Pet Pro, that's it for this week.
Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe.
Just hit all the buttons.
And if you want more, join us in the Indie Insider, our private Facebook group for pet pros.
Then you'll never miss the podcast that makes you sit, stay, and beg for more. The Pet Shop Girls.
Pet Shop Girls.